G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another episode of Wasteland Survival. So last week's episode I made a start on the crew quarters throughout the base and we got the majority of this room done. However, in the last episode I did mention that there are probably a few things that I would like to change in this room. Specifically the skins. So I'm thinking, you know, battered armor doesn't really look that great when it comes to a skin for for this type of room. So I think definitely what I want to do is, go ahead and change the skins in this room. Also, somebody brought up an interesting point in the comments. They mentioned that I forgot to put in some lockers. That's another thing we have to do. We need to put in some lockers. Maybe we can put some in there or something like that, and maybe some there as well. Although I don't know because it's a little bit tight. But I guess once I go through this room and change all the skins, then we can kind of go from that point onwards. But before I get started with the crew quarters, what I would like to do is kind of finish off this hallway, because obviously it's pretty dark and we can't see what we're doing. I would actually like to change the skins for this particular room as well. So what I will do first though is, actually no, I think I'm going to mess around with the skins right now, and then I was going to put some lights on the roof, but I think I'll mess around with the skins and then put the roof lighting in. So I think what I would like to do is use the sci-fi armor here, because I think it's more of an interesting more of an interesting color, I would say, or skin. Now the only problem with so this battered armor here, this color is actually black. So if I go and use the sci-fi armor, obviously you can see that it's actually black instead of being the dark gray, which is what the battered armor is now. So I'll just go ahead and I'll color those two blocks in. You kind of see what I mean. So what I want to do is kind of replicate the same color. So I think we might change the saturation up to maybe like I don't know, like 15.8%. We'll see how that looks. So I'll change the color to that. And yeah, honestly, I think that color is very similar to that color. So we'll go, I'll just leave those two blocks colored in for now, and then I can just grab the color from these two blocks later on. And then I'm going to change the coloring for these windows here, these doors, and all that sort of jazz. Don't know if I want to do the floor just yet. I do have a plan for the floor, so we'll discuss that in a little bit. But for this light gray, obviously we need to bump up the, I don't know what you call this value, something like that. So let's color this block in and see how that looks. The color is close, although this color is slightly lighter than what I've got there. Although maybe with this futuristic skin, it would be better if it was kind of... Yeah, honestly, I think that's pretty close. So what do we got there? 40.8% of the V value. I don't know what the V value is. If somebody knows, please tell me in the comments. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's color in the roof this color. And then what I'll do is I'll also color in all of the blocks on the side that same dark gray, but in the sci-fi armor skin. Alright, well, I've got the roof colored in, so I think it looks a little bit nicer, although we can't really see what's going on until we go ahead and we put in some lights. So I'm going to grab probably this color for my lights, and I'm probably going to place one here and then one every other block. So, you know, we'll have a light, a space, a light, a space, and so on and so forth. So we'll go ahead and we'll put all of these in, and then we can start adjusting the settings for these. Alright, so now all of the lights in our hallway are done, so I can turn off my character's lights and then we can start setting these up. Now, I'll probably just set these up exactly the same as I've set these lights up, but obviously this room is like one block shorter than what, this room is one block taller than that room out there, that hallway there. So what I'll do is I'll figure out what the radius is of this room. So this is 9 meters, and I'll subtract 2.5 meters from that to give us about 6.5 meters, and that's how I will configure all of these lights. So let's go ahead and set these up. So let's find our interior lights. I also went ahead and cleaned up the console here, because there are quite a few lights in the control tower and at the base of the railgun turret that were not labeled yet. So I went ahead and I cleaned that up while I was gone. So all right, 190, 215, set the radius to 6.5. Fall off as usual will be 2.0. Intensity, we'll go for 1.2 and we'll see how that looks. All right, cool. So yeah, I think the lighting is looking pretty good. Now, as I mentioned before, I would like to change these blocks here. So I think we'll grab this color since these are, you know, kind of the dark gray, and we'll go ahead and we'll color these in. And honestly, how much more interesting does that look than that? It looks so much better. So yeah, the theme of the base has always been kind of to use the battered armor skin because, you know, it is a base in the middle of the wasteland, in the middle of a desert, so it kind of fits the theme. But I figured, you know, inside it probably looks a little bit better if we do this. Now, on this side I had this light grey here, but I think I'm going to change this here to dark grey so that it kind of meets up with that wall there, and I think that looks pretty nice. So we'll go ahead and we'll colour in all this stuff on the side wall here. Okay, well that is everything coloured in, and I think that looks just that little bit nicer. Now the only problem is that the floor actually looks pretty dull and boring, so I would like to dress that up a little bit, and I do have a pretty interesting idea on how to do that. So what I was thinking, and I kind of discussed this in the last episode where I mentioned that I didn't really want a pipe running underneath the floor because I just don't see it as being necessary to have a pipe running under the floor, considering I'm probably not going to have any you know, survival kits or anything that really requires a pipe to be running under the floor. The only thing that really requires a pipe is this air vent up the top here, and in fact I'll go and weld that up so we have full seal so that we can, yeah, kind of modify this and not die from a lack of oxygen. So let's just quickly do that. Cool, so the room's sealed, or at least it should be. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, as I was saying, so yeah, I don't think I want to run a pipe in the floor, but I think what I will do is I will run the catwalks and this kind of like tunnel underneath that, and I do have a plan for what I'm going to put underneath that. Now this is going to require some extensive modifications, so anyway, let's get started. Okay, well, we are kind of mostly done with this thing. The thing is, I would really like to remove this cargo container, but the thing is, I think I'm going to need it in the future. Yeah, so I don't really want to remove it just yet. Now, you might be wondering why, instead of putting in these interior walls on the base, I've just gone ahead and put steel blocks. And there's a pretty good reason for that. So basically, the reason is, what we're going to do is we're going to grab some of these light panels. And I'm basically just going to put these light panels right at the bottom of this, and then just put graded catwalks over the top of these. So let's go ahead and we'll put these in, and these will be the same accent color as everything else in the base, and I think this is going to look kind of cool. Alright, so let's get all of these things welded up. Okay, so I've got as many of those welded up as I possibly can for the time being. And honestly, you can kind of see how awesome this is going to look. Even just, you know, the fact that they are kind of white at the moment. But what we're going to do is we're going to set these things up. So let's find our light panels. If I can spell correctly. Or more or less type correctly. Alright, so we'll go 170, 100. And then I'll probably change the radius to about 6.5 meters, which is the same as the roof. Fall off 2. Intensity 0.8, which is slightly less than the roof. And yeah, that actually looks really cool. Well, at least I think it does. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay, so now what we need to do is go ahead and put in our graded catwalks on top of these. So these will be kind of this way around. Make sure I have enough components for these things. Actually, I'll get rid of everything that's on my inventory. And I think I should have enough space on my person to get all of this done. Alright, so let's place all these down, get these welded up, and see how it looks after that. Okay, so the graded catwalks are done, and yeah, I think that looks really cool. Only thing is, it does kind of look a little bit boring with there just being the straight lines. So I'm thinking maybe what I can do is, okay, so I want to leave this interior wall here because the door kind of seals against that. If I go ahead and place in these catwalks underneath the floor here, then the room doesn't really seal itself. So I'm thinking where each of these doors are, we'll kind of go one block in, and we'll do the same here as well. And I'll basically just kind of replicate the exact same design as what I've got there. So let's make that tiny modification, which will take me tons of time, but nevertheless, let's make it and then see how it looks. Okay. And we are complete. So I think that just looks a tiny touch more interesting than what it did before. I suppose I could change these blocks out for something else. Nah, that's alright. I'm going to leave them. So yeah, I think that looks really cool. I'm really liking these light panels. I've never really used them before, especially in this build. And yeah, I definitely look forward to using them a little bit more in the future. Now, let's think about the coloring on the floor itself. So I think I will try and grab this color, and I'm gonna maybe color these blocks in this color. I don't even know if that even looks any better. I kind of do like the matte finish of these interior walls in the battered armor texture, but let's see what happens when I change the color of these. Yeah, I think the catwalks look pretty good being this new color, but I think I might leave the interior walls the battered armor texture. So let's color in all of these catwalks. Okay, well that's all of those done. Yeah, I know I probably should download Digi Spray Mod, but I mean for the time being, I'm happy just using the regular colorings functionality that's built into Space Engineers. So yeah, I think that looks a little bit nicer. Now I would like to really color in these blocks, so I'm going to grab this color once again and this texture, and we're going to color in these. So let's color these in and see how this looks. Okay, well I've done a line of these blocks, that texture, but it just doesn't really match up with these interior walls. I could change the interior walls with something else, but then, you know, we're not going to have this texture on the inside, so yeah, there is that too. I suppose I could change them for the sci-fi ones, but man, these things are a pain to weld because for whatever reason, you can only weld up like, I don't know, 10 of these or something, like with your character's inventory. Whereas with steel blocks, you can do like 25 or something like that. So maybe we can try a different skin. So let's go for the weldless armor. And let's try this skin color and see what happens. Ooh. Actually, I just colored in this window. And I noticed that the texture is nice and clean. And it doesn't have all these scratches on it. So maybe, I might actually colour in all these windows and doors with this skin, at least. Okay, let's go back to the original plan, which was to colour in this piece of floor and see what that looks like. Okay, so honestly, I think that's going to be the way to go. I really like that texture the way it is there. But, like I said, I'm going to colour in these with the weldless armor texture. And then also all of these bits here. So, let's see if I can get my character to colour that in. And I really want to miss that wall there, but yeah, there we go. Whereas if I do this, then I get both of these blocks. Okay, so let's go ahead and colour all this stuff in and then see how it looks after the fact. Okay, well that is all of those blocks coloured in that colour. Ooh, I forgot these ones here. So let's grab these ones. I want my light. I pressed the wrong button. Let's colour these last ones in. See if I can get that block without colouring in the wall. And I just kind of realised that, yeah, I totally missed the wall there. Looks like I... Oh, wait, did I colour that in correctly? Okay. Now let's finish off this last wall here. So let's colour in these blocks with this colour. Grab that one there. And that one there. And yeah, so I think this is looking pretty good. Only problem is it's pretty dull and boring in these corners here. Like they're not very well lit up. I mean, sorry, these ends. So maybe we can go ahead and fix that. I'm thinking I might go ahead and place in some corner lights here. So one at the end here and another at this end here. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I suppose I could use light panels too. Nah, that's right. I will use traditional corner lights here instead. So let's make let's go for this color. And do I even have the materials for these? Probably not. Alright, let's get these done and welded up. Okay, and there we go. So those two are welded up. Now hopefully I don't have any misnamed corner lights in the base. And it looks like I don't. Fantastic. Alright, let's try, you know, the same accent color. Let's go for like a radius of, I don't know. Let's go for 5 meters. And then let's dial down the intensity of these. Well, fall off would be 2 as usual. Intensity 0.8. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. So at the end, we have...
Energy low.
Yeah, a little bit of accent light happening. I would actually like to push up the radius of these lights a little bit more.
Energy
because hang on, we've got... Yeah, I know. Stop annoying me about my energy, man. So what have we got? We've got 2 blocks. So these light panels are pretty much 2 blocks. So I might bump those up by an additional 2.5 meters. So let's find our... What are these called? Light panels. Alright, so maybe I'll go maybe halfway. So an extra 1.25. So what's that? 7.75. Let's go for that radius and see how that looks. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I might bump it up just a little bit more as well. Just once more. Okay, so I bumped up the radius to about 9. And I do like the radius. However, I do think they are a little bit too bright. So let's find these once more, and hopefully this is the last time I go to edit these. And let's maybe dial the intensity down to 0.5 and see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks a tiny touch better. I do believe that that is the lowest intensity they can go. So yeah, I'm overall pretty happy with this hallway. It looks, you know, rather futuristic, which is yeah, a stark contrast to how this looks. But yeah, I mean, like I said, being a crew quarters, you kind of want it to be, yeah, kind of new and luxury looking, I guess. So I certainly think we have nailed that in this hallway. I would have liked a different color for these blocks here, but I don't know how I can make these shiny without them going funny. Because I think if you try and use the worldless armor texture, you can see it kind of gets rid of those lights or those emissive strips, and I want to keep those around. So perhaps we could go the silver armor, or no, sorry, the sci-fi armor, and then we could make them black maybe. So let's go with that. And then we could potentially do that. So they're a little bit darker, and the funny thing is the emissive strips are actually brighter with this texture. So, maybe we could do something like that. You know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what it looks like for a little section, and we'll see how we go. Well, that's one section done. I don't know. I don't know if I'm sold on that. It does look a little bit better, but also, I don't know. We'll mess with that a bit later. Maybe I'll mess around with it off camera. Okay, so modifications to this room. So first of all, I'm thinking, well, crew quarters probably don't want to be walking on a metal floor. So the plan is to go ahead and change this out to a timber floor. And then the roof will be similar coloring to this room here. So, you know, we'll have whatever this texture is, the sci-fi armor texture for the dark grey and the light grey on the roof and the walls. And then all the other little bits and pieces will colour in. Maybe we can go for white and a mixture of other different colours. Maybe we can use the carbon fibre skin. But yeah, that's something I'm going to need to think about. So, alright, well, I've got to get myself some energy and then we can make a start on that. Okay, so before I get started with changing the skins and everything like that, I think what I would like to do is change the structure of the roof. So I'm not really happy with the way that this roof looks. I'm kind of happy with this bit in the middle here where it all kind of goes into this air vent. But these sides here, I'm not sure if I really want this space here. So, and the way that this kind of pillar goes, it just goes in all sorts of different angles. And yeah, it does kind of look interesting, but at the same time, I don't know if I really like it. So, alright, I think what I'll do instead is I'll get rid of just these blocks for now. So, all these ones on the side. And maybe while we're at it, what we can do is actually grab the color that we need. So I'll grab this color here because I want to use the same skins as what I've used outside. Well, I guess I should say skin. So I think I'm just going to go for 45-degree angle blocks. I don't use these probably as often as I should in this game because I always find that the 2x1 blocks are slightly more interesting, at least in most cases. And then what we can do is go ahead and place in just like a corner block, like one of these. So we can place that there. So yeah, that looks a little bit better. Maybe while I'm here, we can go ahead and color in these blocks too. Why not? And hopefully I can get everything but the light. Yeah, that looks much better. But I do have an idea for the other side. So we'll go ahead and we'll grind these blocks out. And I'm going to use the same 45-degree angle blocks. But the only difference I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to change the corner block. So instead of this corner block here, we'll go ahead and we'll use probably this one here. If I can get it orientated correctly. Wait, which Yeah, like that. And then we'll just go ahead and put in our 45-degree angle blocks here, here, and here, and here. Weld these up. And yeah, we could do something like that. So at least the corner kind of has a little bit of shape to it, as opposed to this kind of overhanging piece. It would be awesome if I could have this overhang and then just have a light underneath that. But obviously, you know, this sci-fi bar counter is there, so yeah, can't really do that. I don't mind this look here, so decisions. I don't know. I am kind of leaning towards this configuration here as opposed to this. However, this does have a way more interesting skin, so I don't know. I'm gonna do the room with this, see how it looks, and then we can kind of go from that point onwards. Okay, so that is all those corner blocks done. Well, at least, you know, kind of the size of the room. So I think so far it's looking pretty good. Now to sort out these blocks here. So what I'm thinking is I might go ahead and get rid of probably these blocks first. So I'll get rid of these two. I will go ahead and I will grab this color here. So I'll grab this color. We'll head back inside, and then I'm thinking here maybe I'll grab a 2x1 tip. Actually, you know what? I'm going to color it this color. We'll grab this color here, and then we'll just color this block behind it, because why not? Can I color this without actually coloring the bench? Nah, it colored the bench anyway. That's alright. I'll sort that out a little bit later. Alright, so what we'll do is I'll grab my 2x1 tip, or my 2x1 base, and we'll orientate that in this direction. I'm going to have to get rid of that block there. Oh, wait. No, sorry. I've gone ahead and placed this in the wrong location. Okay, so I want to place it there. Then we'll place our tip in like so. And then we'll get these two welded up. So that looks a little bit more interesting. However, we do have this step here. So what we can do is we can get rid of that. And then we can just kind of make it flush here. So we can just go ahead and put in a, I think it's a 2x1 base again. And we can do something like that. So honestly, I don't know. I don't know if this looks more interesting. I would really love there to be, I suppose another option I have is I could grab something like this. So I could just grab like a half block. And then one of these little corner pieces here. So something like that. So it kind of looks like it's, you know, yeah. We could go this direction or we could go this direction. I'm really not sure which way I want to go. The only issue with this side is I think this thickness here is different to this. Like, I honestly think that this thickness is probably would be equivalent to this block being about here. I don't know, maybe it's just the angle, maybe it's just me, but I think it should probably end up about there, and it just looks like it hangs a bit too low. Whereas this design over here looks a little bit more streamlined. I'm probably procrastinating way too much over this, but I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go with this design everywhere else, and then, yeah, we can kind of see how it looks after I've done the entire room. Okay, so I have kind of completed all of these little corner pieces, or I guess you could call them supports. I think it actually looks pretty good. Only thing I need to do now is change the color of all these blocks here to the light gray, but the sci-fi armor. And I think, you know, we're kind of done. What I did go ahead and do is change the color of this block to the same color as the sci-fi armor. But again, it kind of has all these scratches on it. So I think instead I will use this seamless armor. What's it called again? Weldless armor. I think I'll go ahead and I'll grab this color here. So let's grab Shift P. Let's grab that color. And then let's color in this block here. Yeah. That looks so much better. I don't know why the Worldless armor has no scratches, but it does look quite a bit neater. Question is though, why is there a hole in this room somewhere? Oh, okay, yep. The oxygen is escaping from there. Yeah, I need to sort this out at one point, but yeah, I guess we'll get around to that eventually. Okay, so I'm going to go away and color in all these blocks to the sci-fi armor, and then I'll be back. And I guess while I'm at it, I'll do the walls as well. Okay, so as far as I can tell, I've done all of the blocks on the roof, the walls and everything like that. So it's all looking very futuristic and modern. I believe I've done the blocks behind this one as well. Yeah, done the blocks behind that screen. So now we just need to kind of do the rest of the blocks around this place. But before we do that, I should make the modification where, like I said, somebody else mentioned that I was missing some lockers. So I should probably rectify that situation. So let's get rid of these couches. And I think, you know, rather than there being couches next to a bed, which kind of doesn't make sense, probably makes more sense having a locker there. So let's see if we can find our locker in the first place. So we have our lockers. All right, cool. Now the question is, do I make them the sci-fi armor color? So we could go this color here. Let's weld one of these up in that color and texture. Seems like I need materials for that. Okay. Cool. So that's one in the sci-fi armor texture. Now let's go for one in this texture. So I'll grab this color here, which is the Worldless armor. And then we'll go ahead and grab the materials for this. And then we'll get one welded up on the other side of the bed. And then we shall see how that looks. Cool. And there we go. So that's the Worldless armor. So you can see it's a nice clean texture. There's no scratches on it. Or we have this one which has all the scratches on it. I got to admit, I'm leaning towards this one that kind of doesn't have the scratches on it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't have the scratches on it. Also, I'm just thinking right now, do we get rid of this bed and embed it into the wall? So I could essentially drill this out like so. Let's put my lights on here. Then we can find our bed again. I believe it is under the couches. Yeah, it is like that. So we could... Unable to place bed. Why not? Huh? Why? Why can I place it there, but I can't place it there? That makes no sense. Is it because I have voxels showing here? Must it not interact with any voxels for me to be able to place it? Well, isn't that interesting? Huh. Like, I knew that was a thing with sensors, but I didn't know that was a thing with a bed. Like, I thought a bed... It really didn't matter if it was interacting with voxels, you could still kind of place it. So that is interesting. I never knew that before. So I don't know, does that kind of look neater? I mean, you can still kind of jump into the bed. You know, obviously the view is still really bad. And then perhaps behind it, what we can do is put in an orange light. So maybe we can get rid of that. I'll turn my light back on here. Let's drill out a little bit more material, maybe to down here somewhere. And then on the bottom here, we should be able to place a corner light. Okay, so I've gone with the accent color, set the radius to 5, fall off to 2, intensity to 0.8, offset to 0. Oh, man, I always press escape. Okay, so let's turn off my character's light. And let's place in our bed and kind of see how that looks. So we'll place in a bed there like that. Ah, I don't want a jukebox. I just want my bed. That looks a little bit interesting. And I do believe that the room should still be sealed now. So that's all good. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. I might actually do that for the rest of the base. So I'm going to grab this color here. Well, actually, I believe it is still active. Okay, cool. So now the question is, can I color this block in? Do I color them in like that? Or do I go for the sci-fi armor texture? So let's grab this texture here and put the texture on the side of these beds here like this. Yeah, I think it looks a little bit better being the dark gray. Even though the wall is white, and yeah, I think it actually doesn't look too bad. So I might, yeah, go ahead and do that. Question is, what do I put here? I don't know. I think I'm pretty happy with the way that this all looks. So now we should probably think about moving on to the roof. Sorry, the floor. Or do I worry about these doors and such like that? Yeah, maybe we can do these doors. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll grab this color here because, or this color and texture. We'll change this. In fact, I am actually tempted to change this block here as well to one of these blocks. So just gives it a little bit more shape. So I think that looks a tiny touch better. Let's grab this color once again, although I do believe it is still active. Let's color in this door and see how it looks. Doesn't look that great because it's got the scratches. Okay, let's grab this color, which is the welder's armor. Let's color in this door and this door. And I think that looks a lot better. And then we'll color in this block here and then this block here. Would be really nice if these blocks had their own light source. That would be kind of awesome. And I don't think I have an opportunity to put a light source there. No, I don't. I suppose I could put a corner light there that kind of, you know, and mess with the offset so that it lights up these two areas here. But I don't know. I kind of think there's enough light in here anyway. So can I close the door from here? No, I can't. Alright, so we got to close the door. Then sit on the toilet. Alright, so at least we have a little bit of privacy. Okay. Now, what am I going to do with the floor? So, like I said with the floor, I am really tempted to go with the wood armor. Although we'll probably go with like kind of a brownish color. So what color can we go for that? So maybe we can do something like this. It's not really brown though, is it? Yeah, that's a bit more brown. Alright, let's try coloring in a few blocks and see how it looks. Possibly a little bit too bright. I think I might change that to like a lighter brown. So perhaps we could do a brown such as that. So let's see what it looks like when I change it to that color. Still not as light as I would like, or as dark as I would like. So let's go a little bit darker. And let's try changing it once more. Yeah, that's a little bit darker than it was before. So that kind of looks a little bit better. And it is good that they all kind of go in the same direction. Only problem is that it's going to change the color of all the other blocks, so I'm going to have to go ahead and change them at a later date. But I think that doesn't look too bad. Now, the second option I've got is we could go for like kind of a grayish color. So I do know there are some wood floors out there, you know, in real life that are kind of like the dark gray wood floors. So, you know, we could go something like that, although that's kind of a light gray. So perhaps we could darken that up a bit by reducing this value here. And potentially we could go with a color such as that. I think maybe what I'll do is I will do one side of the room in this color. I will do the other side of the room in the brown. And then we can kind of make our decision from that point onwards. Alright guys, so here we go. Now I've colored half the room in this kind of grey wooden texture. But, you know, to be honest, it kind of looks really boring when, you know, you kind of contrast it against the roof and, you know, the dark grey and the light grey, and then you have a grey floor. It just, yeah, it kind of looks boring. So I think I really prefer the brown wooden floor look. I mean, obviously wood is kind of brown, but like I said before, in real life I have seen wooden floors very similar color to this before. So, I thought it was worth the effort of, checking it out and seeing if it actually would look good. So I think I'm going to go with this brown floor. And then go ahead and change the rest of the floor to this brown, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, so I've gone ahead, I've changed the floor to the brown wooden flooring, and I think it looks, quite nice. Obviously though, this battered armor skin just doesn't really fit with the theme of the rest of the build, so perhaps what we could do is change it to maybe this color. So let's see what happens when I change the barrier to kind of this like nice clean armor skin. Does that actually look any decent? It kind of looks okay, but I wonder if it kind of looks, like too dark. So maybe what we could do is we could use the clean armor skin or the weldless armor skin, and then just change the grey to probably this same color here. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button there. So we could change it to like more of a silver kind of color, and then let's just kind of see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit nicer. I think, the lighter armor skin kind of looks a little bit better than what, the darker armor skin does. So the question is, what parts do I color in this color? And what parts do I leave dark? So I think perhaps we could go the table this color, possibly the planters as well. This one too. Don't know about the kitchen. I'll go ahead and I'll make this one that color. We'll make the science station that color. This planters as well. This one as well. These I actually need to recolor into the darker gray texture because yeah, they kind of got messed around when I was mucking around with the floor. So we'll color those back into that texture there. I think that looks a little bit nicer. Perhaps, you know what? In fact, I think I could actually change them to this color. So let's grab this color here. And let's see how it looks when we use this light gray color here. So let's go like that. And does that look any decent? I'm really not sure. I think it looks a little bit nicer. So we'll kind of go for that for now. These blocks here, I will make those, let's see, probably this texture here. So let's grab a block, select this color, make that this texture, and then this one, this texture as well. Okay, that looks okay. Let's make this one that texture. I might actually make these planters here in the corner, the dark gray. I think that looks okay. Maybe we'll make this sink here, dark gray, this one, and the kitchen as well. And I think we have a nice distribution of different kinds of colors. I think it actually looks quite nice. We'll change this one to dark grey, this one to dark grey, or do we go light grey for those? First of all, let's change the couches. Alright, so they look kind of alright. Let me grab this colour here, and then we can go ahead and we can change this one, and then this one too. Now, for the jukebox, which is kind of the last portion of the room, which I haven't actually gone ahead and coloured in. You can see it's still the battered armor skin. I think maybe what we'll do for this one is we might go for maybe like a neon colourable lights one. The question is, what colour do we go after that? Do I make it like a blue or something like that? So let's maybe go for something like this. We'll go for, I don't know. Let's try that and see what it looks like. Okay, maybe let's go for Neon colorable lights. It is the neon colorable lights. That's strange. I thought it would be a totally different color to that. What does it look like when I do this? Yeah, I think that looks a little bit nicer. A little bit more interesting. Perhaps we could change the vending machine and this thing to that color. Yeah, we could do something like that, and maybe we could change these benches as well to this color. What does that look like? Yeah, it actually doesn't look too bad with these being that color. I need to kind of mess around with these colors a lot more, but I think so far it's actually looking pretty good, this room. So overall, I think, you know, I'm kind of happy with this. I am going to get rid of this block here, and I do believe that I shall replace it with this block here, although it needs to be in that orientation. Yeah, I think that honestly looks quite decent. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with it, how everything looks. I'm probably just going to leave this quarters the way it is. We have our little privacy wall here. We've got 2 doors to our bathroom and our toilet.
Energy low.
The bed is kind of countersunk into the wall a little bit. We've got a science station, a kitchen. I think I might recolor the science station to this color here, because it kind of looks a little bit weird being the other color, given the fact that it's kind of on the other side of the kitchen. So we'll make the kitchen black, because the kitchen, yeah, kind of looks a little bit better that way. We'll leave the jukebox the way it is. I wonder if you can change the screen on this. Not sure. Maybe I'll play around with that a little bit later. I need to figure out what I'm going to put on this screen here. Probably just something very similar to this, you know, some sort of Space Engineers pre-built image inside the game. But yeah, we'll kind of figure that out. Anyway, guys, I'm pretty sure that's yeah, going to be a wrap for this episode. In the next episode, I think I might get started on like a bulk crew quarters for kind of more of the lower level employees. So somebody in the comments section, or Patrick in the comments section, mentioned that, you know, what I should probably do is go ahead and count up all of the seats that I have in all of my ships, the rover, all of the control centers, you know, for the reactor room, the control tower, and the room that sits behind the rover, which I like to call the, you know, the rover control room, I guess. And then times that value by 3. And then that would kind of be the amount of crew quarters that I would need to crew this place. Because obviously, you know, people aren't going to be working 24 hours. And you would want people at each station over a 24-hour period. So, you know, I guess a decent amount of overlap for people to be at those stations would kind of be, you know, 3 different shifts over a 24-hour period. So I kind of need to work out the numbers for that, and then figure out like a really basic type of quarters that's really kind of dense, so that we can fit everyone in that would be in this base into those crew quarters. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do in the next episode. But in the meantime, in between this one and the next one, I need to replicate this crew quarters, or the luxury crew quarters for, like, you know, offices and things like that, to all 6 of these rooms. Maybe I'll add another level, but I don't think I will. And yeah, you know, do that in between this episode and the next one, and then next episode we can get started on some other things. So anyway, guys, really hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did like it, please leave a like. Definitely consider subscribing so that every time I release a new episode,
Energy critical.
you receive a notification about it. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.